Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. This is the Loud Life Show. I am your host, Alvin Folks, here on WQMIX Radio, the Loud Life Show. How are you all doing? I hope all is well. I hope that this broadcast finds you in a great place in your life, a great place in your day. You can join me here on the Loud Life Show every Sunday at 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, now Eastern Daylight Time. And then sporadically throughout the week, catch the Loud Life Show at random times. Hopefully, you have been tuning in over the last almost 2 months of us being on the air, and I really do appreciate it. Please continue to spread the word about the Loud Life Show here on WQMIX again at 4 p.m. on Sundays, Eastern Standard Time. I am so appreciative of you being a part of this journey. I'm so appreciative of you being a part of my audience, being a part of my world. I'm also very proud of you that you are taking a step listening to the Loud Life Show to improve your space in life and improve your experiences in life. Too often, we don't put enough time and emphasis into the things that we want to do for ourselves. So, my purpose as a life coach, as a motivational speaker, as a person who just cares about people, as a nurturer, is to make sure that we all are doing the things that we need to do for ourselves to make ourselves better people. In turn, being a better person will help us be better people to other people. So I'm hoping that on this journey that we are taking together every Sunday, that you and I will also figure out ways to be better to others. But at first glance, we have to understand how to be better to ourselves and what we need to do to help us be better people. So, our topic today is still in the same lines of the things we've been talking about all of the last broadcast, which is basically about, first of all, you had to find yourself, and then you had to define yourself, then enjoy yourself, and then celebrate yourself. So, staying in the mode of celebrating ourselves, as we talked about last week, was about you looking at something in your life that you appreciate and celebrating that. Too often we don't celebrate ourselves. We wait for other people to celebrate us. And while that is all well and good, you should have the capacity to be able to be proud of and happy for the things that you have done in your own life. So you should celebrate yourself. Well, while we are now in this celebratory mode of the things that we are doing and the things that we've done and the things that we have achieved and the things that we want to do, we are in a perfect position now, right here at the beginning. In fact, today, first day of spring. Time for you to do some spring cleaning in your life. It's time for you to do some things that are going to basically eradicate some things and also introduce some new things and also repurpose and revalue some things in your life. That's what spring cleaning is all about. So we always think about spring cleaning at this time of the year because we are going into the season of spring where things start to bloom and blossom and grow after being dormant for a period of time. So, with that, we also are in the habit of getting rid of the old things and allowing new things to come in. We want to make sure that our household is in order, and we're giving away things that we no longer find that we need and somebody else may need. We are also bringing in new things to give our lives a bounce, give it some meaning. I want to take your spring cleaning further than that, though. And I want you to now think about spring cleaning from the standpoint that not only is spring about growth, But part of that growth is to evaluate the things around you, but also the people around you and what you're allowing into your life. I am a huge India RE fan. For those of you who are not familiar with India RE, INDIA dot AIRE. She is a singer, songwriter, artist. She's also very, very in touch with being a human being. And I follow her. I've seen her live in concert many times. She makes incredible music. I'm a huge fan. And I was watching one of her broadcasts one day. She did a live video, and I went and watched it live, and then I've watched it a few times after that. And she said something, because I'm always going to give credit where credit is due. She said something that resonated with me so deeply that it changed the way I thought about things, but it also made me come up with my own philosophy. So that is, she said this: we as people have to learn how to curate our space. Now, she was speaking about it in terms of a situation she had with a outlet that does streaming, and she no longer wanted to be associated with that outlet. And so she made a video to talk about all of the reasons that she did not want to be associated with it. And it had to do with a person that was a part of the outlet, and she did not want to be in that person's presence, so to speak. She made clear she did not know the person. She made clear that she's never had interaction with the person, but she knew about the actions and some of the things that he's done because she's listened to the person. And she decided that she did not want that in her space. So she was going to curate her space. So after listening to her, I went and looked up what a curator was. And we all are familiar with the word curate because of the fact, or curator, because of museums, because we think of a museum curator as somebody who brings in items and artifacts. They organize them in a certain way because they want to set a certain atmosphere in the museum. So when you come in, you see a particular type of art, you see a particular type of sculpture, you see particular types of artifacts. All of that is set up by the curator. And it's all very purposeful. It's all very meaningful. It is all done with a lot of meticulous detail. Okay, I want you to follow me. Now, she didn't say all of this, but this is what it brought out of me. So I'm sitting there listening to her about curating your space. And I thought about my own life, and I thought about curating my space. And what does that mean? What does that mean for me? Well, after listening to some of the things that she was talking about, I had to think about what it meant for me. So what it meant for me and what she was alluding to was this: you have every right to make your space the way you want your space to be. Now, we're speaking metaphorically because I'm not talking about just your home or just your vehicle or just your room. I'm talking metaphorically, I'm talking figuratively. So, if you think about your life as your space, you have the right to curate your space, curate your life. What does that mean, Alvin? Oh, glad you asked. I guess I'll tell you here on the Loud Life Show. What does it mean for you to curate your space? Well, firstly, it means that you get to decide who gets the privilege of being in your space. You get to decide who gets the honor of being able to occupy space in your life. Now, here comes the bombshell part of it. Curating your space means that you can look at somebody, recognize who they are, what they stand for, how they carry themselves, and understand that this is who they are. This is them. This is just who they are. And as a curator of my space, I have to understand that you are going to be you 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. There's nothing that I can do about you being you. But what I can do is curate my space so that you have minimal to no impact in my life. Because as a grown person, you're free to be whomever you want to be. You can do whatever you want to do. I don't have to like it. I don't have to understand it. I don't have to co-sign on it. I don't have to do anything as it pertains to how you live you. But if the you that you have chosen to be does not line up with the me that I've chosen to be, then as the curator of my space, I get to say whether or not you are allowed to be in my space. This space that I have is sacred space. This space that I have is positive space. This space that I have is progressive space. And I don't have time to deal with people who I feel are going to stifle or prohibit or inhibit the energy in my space. So therefore, I am going to curate my space so that you are not a part of my space, because I'm not your parent. I don't have the energy or the time to tell you how I think you should be feeling, how you should be living, what you should be doing, because I'm not trying to change you. You have decided who you want to be. You have decided what you want to be. And that's all well and good. You have the right to decide who you want to be. But I also have the right to decide whether I want that version of you in my space. So now I have a choice as the curator of my space. I can choose to not have you in my space, and I can choose how I interact with you going forward. So for some of you, that means that some people in your life you love from a distance. It's that you don't love them. It's not that you despise them or anything like that. You just know that who they are does not jive with who you are. That's okay. So we'll see each other. We'll love each other. We'll support each other. And that is where it will stay. You know as much about me as I want you to know. I don't desire to know as much about you as you may think. So you stay where you are. I'll stay where I am. And we'll be fine because I'm curating my space. So some people I'm loving from a distance. Some people I and you have had to decide this person is not someone I want in my space in any way, shape, or form, because they bring destruction to my space. So I don't want this person in my space at all. We don't have to speak. We don't have to talk. We don't have to interact. We don't have to be around each other. We don't have to keep in touch. In fact, I don't want to. There's nothing about you that jives with me. So because of that, you go along your way, do your thing. I will do my thing. I am curating my space. I don't need you in my space. I don't desire you in my space. I do not want you in my space. My space is off limits to you. What am I going to do? I'm going to curate my space, and I'm going to bring in people who pour into me, uplift me, encourage me, support me, stand by me, gird me. Those people that do all those things for me, I do all of those things for them. Our relationship is reciprocal. Our relationship is symbiotic, as opposed to the person that I got rid of or the people that I get rid of, where our relationship is parasitic, where they are taking from me and giving me nothing. I am dealing with people who are symbiotic. We have synergy. We are in sync. See how all those words have the same at the beginning? We're symbiotic. We have synergy. We are in sync with one another. Those are the people who I'm going to allow in my space. Those are the people who I am going to continue to cultivate relationship with. Those are the people I am going to continue to pour into when they need me to pour into them. And I'm going to allow them to pour into me. See, people like to use the word about setting boundaries, boundaries. I really, that word bothers me as a trigger word for me because of the way that that word was introduced to me from someone who always spoke about people not violating their boundaries, but in the same vein, always violated everybody else's boundaries. So that word is a trigger for me, and that's something that I'm working through. So that's why I don't use the word about establishing boundaries. I don't like that word, but I do like the fact that I got from India Reid this concept of curating your space. Because in curating my space, I don't have a boundary. People are free to walk through, look, but don't touch. Look, but don't comment. If that's what you want to do, that's what you want to do. Because in this vein, I'm not trying to control you. See, when you set a boundary, you're trying to control people from coming in. When I have curated my space, I'm not trying to control you. I am trying to control me. I am setting this up so that I can have the freedom to feel whatever it is I want to feel. Because whatever you're doing or whatever you're thinking or however you're conducting your life is none of my business. And because it's none of my business, I'm not going to put energy into your business. I'm not going to put energy into figuring out who you are, what you are, why you are. You can do whatever you want to do. But as for me and in this space that I'm curating, I want to make sure you understand that I'm not trying to take anything from you. I'm just trying to have something for me, something that I appreciate with people around me that appreciate what I appreciate, but also appreciate me. Sometimes that's easier said than done, though, curating your space. It's easier said than done because we know what negativity looks like. We know what negativity feels like. We know what negativity can do to us. But yet we keep one or two people around that always end up being exactly who they showed us they were from the beginning. But we think that if we curate it in a certain way, those people won't have impact on our lives, but they always do. Those people will change, but they never do. Those people will understand how they make me feel, but they're not trying to. Are you hearing me? These people don't deserve a spot in your curated space. Again, did I say that you can't love certain people? No, I did not. You can love them, but they are not a part of this curated space. You can be concerned about them, but they're not a part of this curated space. You can think about them, but they're not a part of this curated space. That's what I need you to do for yourself for your spring cleaning. Not only are you getting rid of items, not only are you repurposing items, but you are now getting rid of negative people and you're repurposing some of these relationships that you had in your life that you didn't realize needed repurposing. You have people in your life right now who give and pour into you and support you way more than you want to give them credit because you're too busy trying to get someone who ain't worth nothing to have value in your life. That's going to be a whole nother broadcast about value. But you're trying to make something that's worthless valuable. Ah, you're trying to make someone who in your life is worthless. I'm not calling the person worthless because they probably have worth in some way, shape, or form, just not in your curated space. Does that make sense? So, with that being said, I'm going to let you be you, and the people who find your value, your worth in you, let them value you. Let them feel appreciation of your worth. I don't feel that. I don't see the value in this relationship. I don't see the worth in this relationship. So I am curating my space where I can say, yo, what's going on, bro? Hey, sis, what's going on? I can do all of that and still not have you as a curated part of my space. I'm not sharing my everyday life with you. I'm not sharing my highs and lows with you. I'm not going to give you my energy, nor am I going to put energy into you because I know that that energy is going to be voided by the negativity that you exude. Ha! This is the perfect time of year to start evaluating who and what is in your life and become the curator of your space. Just because you met them doesn't mean they get to stay in your space. Just because you've known them for years does not mean they get to stay in your space, especially if they're not bringing anything into your space. This is why I reject when people want to give me a title that they don't truly understand. I don't let everybody call me brother. I don't let everybody call me uncle. The reason being is because those things in my curated space come with accountability and responsibility. My nickname is not uncle. My nickname is not brother. Those are my duties and responsibilities and accountabilities. And if that is a mutual, reciprocal, symbiotic relationship, then it means something more to you too. So everybody doesn't get to call me certain names. I'm not going to allow that in my curated space. Does that make sense? You can't have everybody come into your curated space and tell you how you should have certain items in your life. No, you don't let somebody come into your curated space and tell you how other people should feel about you or how you should feel about other people. You don't get to speak about the things in my curated space. You go and curate your space and you can set every relationship in that space according to you. But what you won't do is speak about anything in my space. You don't get to tell me who loves me or who should love me. You don't get to tell me who I love and how much I should love them. You don't get to tell me who means something to me or who I mean something to. You don't get to do that. You won't do that. You have instantly shown me that you cannot be a part of this space that I'm curating because people that love you don't take the opportunity to tell you who you should love or who you shouldn't love because most of the time they have an agenda when they do that. When you know people have agendas, they can't stay in your curated space. I'm speaking for me. I know me. You can't have people in your life that have their best interest at heart at your expense. No, they cannot do things to you to better them and not take you into consideration all at the same time. You are worthy of more than that. This is going to be a hard thing for you to do. It's going to be a hard thing for you to accept. It's going to be a hard thing for you to curate and cultivate and nurture because sometimes we get caught up in just the whole thing of feeling comfortable. These people around you are comfortable. This situation that you're in is comfortable. But talking about somebody for who they truly are in your life can be very uncomfortable. So now it's time to start curating your space. Now it's time for you to start curating your environment so that when you walk through your space, when you walk through your space and you turn to the left and you turn to the right and you look in front of you and you look behind you, you feel good about the space you curated. You're walking through the space taking a big, deep breath, and you can exhale and feel the peace that comes along with having peace in your curated space, because you feel the positivity of the energy moving through your space, because you've gotten rid of the drama. You've gotten rid of the people who bring about turmoil. You got rid of the people who made you feel worse about yourself. You got rid of the people who wouldn't support you no matter what you've done. You got rid of the people that only seem to know your number when you need me. You got rid of the people who only seem to text and contact you when they are in need of something from you. You got rid of the people who always seem to talk you out of doing better in your life. You got rid of the people who always seem to pop up at the wrong moment to make you feel worse about being in the moment you're in. You got rid of the people who always have something to say about everybody, but you know for yourself that their life is in a total shambles and they have the audacity to talk about your life and somebody else's life. You got rid of the people who only come around to bring you bad news. You got rid of the people who come around onto your social media and only have something to say in criticism of something that you said or you felt, but never come to support you when you need support. Those people have been excommunicated, because we're not going to encourage negativity. I'm not going to encourage parasitic behavior. I'm not going to encourage dysfunctional behavior. If you choose to be that person and that is who you are, you have every right to be that person, but you will not, repeat, not be that person in this space. My space has been curated. My space is being curated even more as we speak, because I am constantly curating my space, looking at the things that are going to make me a better me with the people around me who we have enough synergy that we are going to always complement each other. Notice I did not say give each other compliments, but compliment one another. Somebody got some hard lessons to learn today, and somebody got some really difficult work ahead of them, because as I'm speaking, you have been thinking about the people in your life that fit the description of negative. If negative was a person, you already have that person lined up in your mind right now. And now you got to think about, what do I do? Time for you to curate your space. Our time is already up. Time flies when you're having fun. Time flies when the information is good. Thank you for tuning in to the Loud Life Show with me, Alvin Folks. Catch me here, 4 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time / Eastern Standard Time, here on WQMIX Radio. In the next coming weeks, and I've said it before, I'll have information for you coming about how to get in touch with me and how we can take these lessons further with personal life coaching from yours truly. So stay tuned. I love you. Ain't a thing you can do about it but love me back. Keep smiling, keep living, keep growing. Live loud. I'm out.